Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. Terrence and TR are off for this preview episode. However, they should be back for the next episode, which is episode 247, Till. That is, of course, the I guess, autobiographical telling of the aftermath of the death of Emmett Till. I'll read the log line here, which is in 1955, after Emmett Till is murdered in a brutal lynching, his mother vows to expose the racism behind the attack while working to have those involved brought to justice. This is directed by Chinoye Chukwu, stars Danielle Deadweiler, Jalen Hall, and Frankie Faison. Look, if you're not familiar with the murder of Emmett Till, you should be, because that's a really important part of history. But also, you should understand a lot more of the details here. I have not seen this movie; neither one of us have. Terrence, I know, has seen it, but I don't know how much they're going to like hyper dig into the details. So I would say if you don't know all the most nuanced, important details of that story, you should do yourself a favor and read up on that before watching Till. For folks who do plan on watching it, it is on Amazon Prime for free for Prime members. So that's an easy, convenient way to watch it. Otherwise, rent it or buy it. Look, I got to tell you, I'm not exactly, this was a movie I was not exactly jazzed to watch. And I normally give people a hard time about skipping out on movies about our stories because they're like tired of watching stuff like that. And look, I'm guilty of that because I didn't really want to watch this because it's a kid, and I just did not want to see a young black boy get murdered.
Yeah. How about that? That's the only reason I wasn't. I didn't rush out to see it, but I suggested this movie because I do think we need to watch it.
Yeah.
We know the story, but one, I hear the movie's very good, and two, you have to be reminded of these things. Otherwise, they win, right? They are trying to erase our history, and they're trying desperately to erase it in the classrooms. But you can't. You can't. The only way history gets erased from art is if we don't consume it.
Exactly.
Because if we don't consume it, then people won't finance to make it. So this is something that is important, and I'm ready to cry. Ready to cry.
Yeah, so. Look, man, like this is going to be an emotional roller coaster, I'm sure. Yeah, look, I would urge people. I know some people don't watch the movies that we review; they just listen to the reviews. But I would urge people to support this and watch it, and pay for it if you can, or use whatever streaming service, and legitimately give this your eyes and your attention. Yeah, I mean, look, Till's story is. I mean, he's often his story is often put in line with other civil rights leaders. Obviously, he was not a civil rights leader. He was just a victim, and he was a child. But his story is incredibly important just from the aspect of violence, white lies, the false weaponization of white feminism, the American justice system, how people literally treat his statue to memorialize his death to this day, like white conservatives, how they treat it, how it just recently was named by Joe Biden as a national monument, which is a big deal. If you don't know what the difference between just a monument and a national monument, that comes with a whole lot of extra, protections and all this other stuff. There is a lot there, and I'm not sure that will be dug into, but we'll talk about it then on the episode next week. But Emmett Till is a powerful character in American history, just in human history in general. So if you don't know about Till for some reason, you should make sure you educate yourself as much as possible. All right, so speaking of possible injustices, this one righted immediately. Our random topic, if you could possibly guess, is about the brawl heard around the world. I guess this is the start of the Black Avengers.
It was Alabama Endgame is what it was.
It was. That's perfect. It's probably going to be the title of this episode. Look, this brawl that happened. I mean, this is all over the news and all over the internet. That happened in Montgomery, Alabama. Shout out to JTD. Why weren't you there? Right? You're supposed to be there. But apparently this black security officer, or just like security doing security at this like riverboat bank at a dock. Thank you. And he asked these white folks to move their boat because some larger boat called the Harriet. I mean, like, you can't write this better, right? Like, you can't. We'll just call it the Tubman. Like, what the fuck? Let's be more on the nose. Because this larger boat was docking where they were, and they decided, like, nah, we're not going to do that because white. And they started attacking this dude. I guess they got into an argument, an altercation with this guy, and they attacked him. And that's where the video footage starts, but that's not where it ends.
Yeah. So, and I really need people to actually watch the part that you described, because the filming does start way before the actual fight. And apparently, like you said, this guy told the people who own this boat that they have to move because a gigantic boat needs to dock here, and they refused. So he walked down and started moving it himself. And then one guy came over. They're arguing. They're very clearly like, at odds with one another. Then another came over, and then that's when the one guy basically sucker punched the dock worker. Yeah. And I saw that, and you see more white people swarm on him. You end up seeing 3 white dudes beating on this one black man, and a white woman coming over to kick him while he's down. And that was it. that was it. Because we ain't, and it was the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. Because look, niggas get on my nerves too, but if I see somebody in that kind of trouble, I feel like I gotta help.
No, you can't just let a black man get beat up by like 4 or 5.
You can't. That's crazy. Right? Like,
that's crazy. I don't know the context. I don't need to know the context.
Right. Like, that's ridiculous. And look, if a bunch of white people are swarming on a black person, it's the white people's fault. It is. I don't care what the guy.
No, it's 4 of you. It's 4 of you. Like, knock it off.
Right. No. Yeah, man. Look, it was wonderful, yo, and it proves 2 things. That one thing that I've said before, and is that white people don't care about each other, right? But we do. We care about one another, which is why this scene happened. Nobody knew that guy, but we all have a common ancestry, especially in that part of the country.
Absolutely.
Specifically. And we just like, no, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. Yeah. And
no, look, it is a perfect example of even when we are at odds with each other, right? Like black men, black women, black people to other black people, like we all got our shit and everybody trying to get through the day. I get it. You clash on certain shit, obviously. Well, when the signal goes up, when a black man throws his hat into the air,
that hat goes up.
Like you got to answer the call. Like it's just it. I saw. Shout out to Rod from the Black Guy Tips. He was like, he threw out the hat signal, like, right? It's like the bat signal. And it worked. Like, black people are like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, nah, like, absolutely not. It's just so funny to me because, like, there's a lot of serious aspects of this and there's a lot of really funny aspects, and we'll get to all of it. But, like, it just immediately reminded me of that Tom Segura joke where he's like, he was in a park and he saw, like, a white guy call a black guy like a nigger, and he was like, wait, It's like, what the fuck is happening? And then another black guy came out of the bushes, like out of nowhere, was like, nah, I'm ready to fight. Like, because they just were like, nah, at our core, we are brothers. Like, I'm not going to allow you to do that. And he was like, if I see a white guy getting beat up, he was like, I don't give a fuck about him. Like, fuck that guy. Like, yeah, white people don't care about each other. Like, but they don't have to, right? Because society is not, it is, and here's the serious part of that. Like, American society is not set up for a sort of collective benefit, or excuse me, an individualized, like, automatic come together because we're white, outside of like to dominate other people, right? Like, they don't have, we talked about this on the small acts episode. White people don't get the collective effervescence, right? Like, of success and things like that, of like another white person making, because they're so individualized. But because of how racism works in the US, they purposely lump us all together. Like, if a black guy does something bad, all black people do it, right? If a black woman does something, all black women are like this, or all black people are like this. So when that happens, that's the obvious negative side. But the problem is, you have solidified us together when shit goes down, because like we don't accept that we're all individuals. You can't. And that's part of the reason, like, I get really upset when we talk about like politics and stuff like that. When I hear black people like trying to separate themselves from other black people's experience, I'm like, no, don't do that, because that is a white tactic, right? Like, you can only beat us by breaking us all apart. I mean, because slavery, go all the way back, what was the number one thing they did? They broke up families, right? Like, and fundamentally, if you are allowed to divide and conquer, like that, it's a turn of phrase for a reason. But when one black guy is up against four black people or four white people, like, he's gonna lose. He's likely gonna lose. But other black people are like, not today. Absolutely not. I'm gonna swim across the river to join this fight.
Right. Yeah, right. Like, what the fuck, yo? Right. And there's a reason why the unofficial international symbol for Black Pride is a fist. Right? It's everybody coming together.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
And what's the thing that white people co-opted? The OK sign. A bunch of individuals, right? A bunch of individuals. Nah, not us, right? Right. And look, man, it was. I felt a sense of pride, and I don't know if I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but like, I really did, like I can't justify that to my children. At this age,
people. Like, that's not cool. But like,
right, at this age, what, like, yeah, maybe what he do? What do you do? Right,
the context.
So yeah, man, this was wild, and all the memes and stuff are out, and the internet takes no time, right? They found these people.
They had their they had pictures of them before the fight, like keying it up before the fight went down. I'm like, God damn, they were on their ass, man. Amazing.
But, and look, I know a lot of people got on us about a lot of people had some opinions about our last preview episode when we talked about Ice Cube. Mm-hmm. But look, man, we were critical of Ice Cube because black people don't want to see black people getting taken advantage of by white people.
Correct.
We don't. And Ice Cube famously was taken advantage of by white people for his talent, screwing him out of money and shit like that.
Right, and he fought
back. And he fought back.
Yeah, very famously.
Right. And we don't. I refuse to see that at this point in my life. I refuse to accept that. Well, this person is just going to do this and that. Like, nah, if I see that I think you're being taken advantage of, I got to say something. If I see you getting banked, getting jumped, right? Like, nah, I got to say something. I got to do something. I got to learn how to swim is what I need to do.
Yeah, nigga, you'd have been ass out. You'd been just, go get him, yelling from the other side of the river. Like,
give me a rock.
That's fucked up. See, this is your impetus for learning how to swim at 40 some odd years old, is just in case a nigga on the other side of a river is getting banked. You gotta, we need you.
Yeah. Now I gotta work on my cardio too, because like swimming in full clothes and
Right, yo, this nigga got shoes on, yo. Y'all be exhausted.
But he
But
was 16. He got all the energy in the world. He
he
was
hopped
16.
out and was ready to fight immediately. I'm like, yo, I need a break. Like, so you have an electrolyte drink, like orange slices before I get involved. Like, god damn, that's awesome. Look, I saw a moment which will live in infamy for me. Like the dude swimming across the river. He's been dubbed Aquaman. I appreciate that. I love that meme. That's very funny to me. But I don't think enough attention is being brought to the black woman who helped a white woman who got pushed in the river. She helped her out and then started beating her ass. Like, I want you to drown, but you're going to get your ass beat anyway.
I don't want nobody to die. I don't
Like,
want
we don't
nobody.
gotta die, but you're going to still catch these hands. Like, knock it off.
You want to pay for it. You want to pay for it though. You kicked that man while he was down.
Yo, that's
like,
a
what
wild move. Like, no, you good? You good? Like, get the fuck out of
Right.
here.
I'd have knocked him back in the fucking water.
Right, no, come on, give me your hand. I'll help you. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's a wild move. But like I saw, people who are weirdly on the side of the white gang of assholes who started this. Like, yo, relax. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, they were like, well, the one guy hit the other lady in the head with a chair. That was really messed up. I'm like, yo, she was already down. You know what? You're right. That was kind of fucked up. It was funny.
Yeah, that's why they put him in handcuffs. Okay,
yo, you got to go to jail for that. Yo. You can't hit a nigga in the head. It's not WWE. Yo, relax.
Right. Look, I got no problem, but him busting off on that one dude that he hit. That was fine.
No, that's totally
like. Look, I might not even have a problem with him hitting a woman with the chair, but she was down, right? Like,
right, yo, even UFC rules, yo. If you got a knee down, you don't keep hitting the guy. Yo. Like, come on, like, relax. Like, it was funny because I saw like some I assume conservative white guy was like, no one's talking about this, nobody's talking about this guy hitting with chair. I'm like, yo, that's what everyone's talking about. Like, everyone's talking about that. Like, I don't think anybody was like, yeah, that seems fair. Like, people were like, that's funny. It's fucked up. Like, you shouldn't have hit her in the head. Like, yo, she's down. Like, she was sitting. Like, she wasn't even like she fell down. She was sitting down.
Look, even the commentator on the thing was, oh, he getting a felony for that. He getting a felony.
Yeah, you can't hit somebody.
That was a little much. That was a little much. But like, look, I ain't got no problem you swinging a chair. Look, me myself personally, I feel as though if I had to place myself in that situation, like if I were one of the people in on that dock, I would be the guy in the white pants with the black and white striped shirt and the white hat, right? Because I like his mentality, right? You go for the jugular. You trying to end this shit. Like, don't.
Yeah,
don't
no, you got. Yeah, I'm not trying to fight for an hour. Knock it off.
Right. No, I'm not doing hammer fists and shit. No, I'm choking. I'm fish hooking. I'm gouging. Everything that's illegal in UFC is legal on a dock.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
Ain't no rules. Like,
because if you push me to that point, like I'm not like Terrence, right? Terrence will go off in a second. I remember we were working at GameStop one day. There was a fight in Foot Locker, and this nigga was like, "Yo, I kind of want to go over there and fight." Crazy person, yeah. Because he was ready to go. He was ready.
And see, so he don't know the context. He don't need no context.
Right.
Just fight.
Right. But nah. This was all the context I need. It was black versus white, and it was black versus white versus white versus white versus white. And that ain't no.
Nah, that's not cool. Well, and it's really funny. Like, apparently, white people are always like, "There's going to be a race war. There's going to be a race war." Like, you guys aren't ready for it. Apparently, y'all not ready for it because if it comes down to like actual fighting, nah. Y'all gonna get your ass.
You ain't got your guns, yo. That's why they cling them guns like that. That's why they make guns their personality, because can't none of them fight, yo.
Look.
That's what. But
that goes for all you other people with guns too. That's because y'all can't fight. You can't.
It is, yo. It is. Like if you make like guns your identity, I ain't got no problem with guns, man. I ain't got no problem. I think guns are fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, they're
right?
fun to shoot. Are you kidding?
And I love shooting guns, but it's not my identity. Right. And if it makes it your identity, yo, that's you can't fight, yo. You probably can't even fuck. You can't do nothing, yo. Like that's it's sad if you make that your identity. Nah, yo, I'm watching this fight again. Nah, yo, this is fucking great. This is fucking great. And the commentary and all that, I love it. I love it. Look, man, I- I'm not here to advocate violence, but like you gotta meet violence with violence sometimes, yo.
Yeah,
Like
like this is not like the slap, right? Because I was pretty adamant. Like I did not think that was cool. That was somebody telling a joke and somebody just walking on stage and hitting someone. This dude was
right,
attacked. Look. I'm all for nonviolence. I'm actually a pretty decent advocate for it. But you're not going to just swing on me, yo. Like, nah, yo. That's when shit ends. Like, you take a swing at me, the door is now officially open. You're gonna get your ass kicked. Like,
yeah, it ain't
so I
turn
got
the
no
other
problem
cheek.
with that. Nah.
It ain't turn the other cheek. And you talk about the slap. Look, 100%. If a white person were to do that to Chris Rock, it'd have been a fight. It would
Oh
have. It
no,
was
yo,
an
there's no
all
way
out
it would
brawl.
have responded in the same way. Nope.
Right. He wouldn't
No
have.
way.
He wouldn't have just sat there and took it. It'd have been an all out brawl.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I don't even think a white person would do that. Cause I feel like they'd be like, this feels like a mistake. If I go up on the stage, this feels like a huge mistake. And they'd be right. Like, you don't need that. Like, don't do that. Um, but no, I just no, like violence. Look, I think there is a time and place for everything, and I think somebody telling you, "Hey, you need to move your boat," because they are the like quite literally like law enforcement or whatever. They're just out telling you to move your boat, yo. Like they're not doing anything to you, just like hurting you. They're not breaking your civil rights. They're just moving your boat. They're just telling you to move your boat. You didn't want to do it.
Right.
Hey, man,
Because you
like
didn't want to do it. Because you didn't
right,
want to
like you
do it for
didn't. Yeah,
whatever
you didn't
reason.
have a legitimate reason, right? Like, oh, it's broken. Sorry, I can't move it. Like, nah, yo, you just didn't want to do it because you didn't want to listen to this guy, right? And then you sucker punched him. Nah,
Right.
nah, nah. You
Like
got
if
you
you
got the
like if
ass
you
whooping you
start
deserve.
violence, yeah, if you start violence, like it's nah, yo, all bets are off at that point.
No,
Like,
no, absolutely.
but look, I mean, my heart grew 3 sizes today. The day I saw it.
Absolutely.
And look, we have our differences, but it's not. It's a wonderful feeling to see us kind of come together when somebody is fucking with
Mm-hmm.
us, man,
Yeah.
because we've been doing that all our lives, yo. We've been for black people, been doing it for generations, um, which is real fucking sad.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm glad to see that, like, even in this new like world that we live in, where like everything you say and do is wrong or questioned, or it's still we can come together
Right.
and save a black person from possibly being murdered, yo. Like,
Yeah, that's a very good point because like that's not talked about. Oh, they just was beating him up. Like, nah, yo, they could have killed that guy. You
no,
don't
yo,
know
they
that.
could have killed that man. They could have killed that man. That was 4 grown ass men uh, uh, fighting one dude who was down, and and he was right by water. They could have killed him, yo. They
Yep.
could have killed him. And uh, yeah, man, I just it was a good feeling. I'm transfixed by this. Like I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like I think there are going to be people who try to make this into like, well, you shouldn't condone violence, and how would you feel if it was four black dudes, beating the shit out of one white guy? One, I wouldn't be cool with that. Like that's also
It would be
just jumping.
wrong.
Yeah,
It would be
just jumping
wrong,
somebody is
yo.
fucked up. Like it's just it's
Right.
fucked up, right? Um, that being said, you cannot ignore the historical context of this. Apparently, where that dock was or is also a place where slaves were brought in this country, right? That doesn't mean, right? Like, there is historical context to put that in. And like, I saw somebody, I think his name is Conscious Lee on social media. He's a very, very smart guy, like super educated dude. I like him a lot. He's really funny as well. But, he was just talking about like, listen, you hear people say like, we're not our ancestors or, that type of language. And we talked about this on the show too. It's like, don't say that because like you're implying that like our ancestors were like docile or some shit. Like they were not. Like people did not go into slavery just like happy go lucky about that shit. People fought and died and tried their best to stop that shit. They were outgunned, like quite literally, right?
We talked about that on the Antebellum episode. Ironically, I just listened to that episode again today.
That's a terrible
And
movie.
yeah, it was a terrible movie, and we all made that exact same point. Like, oh, I'm not my ancestors. I would do this. You don't know what you would have done back then, but I know what I'm going to do now. And now I'm not going to take this shit. Like, you can't. You got to do something, yo. You got to do something.
Yeah, you do. You quite literally do. And I am just so happy to watch us refuse to just go quietly, right? Like, no, you're just not going to do that, and we just stand by. This is not going to happen. This is 2023. We're not just gonna be like, well, just record it. Like, nah, you're about to get the shit kicked out of you in HD, and it's gonna be glorious. And you deserved it. You deserved it. And at the end of the day, those black people didn't just equal their power to those white people. They beat the shit out of those white guys too. And those guys fucking deserved it, yo. Absolutely. And sometimes you just got to chair.
You saw they started running once the portals opened. And then,
yo, I saw a meme about that. That meme was hilarious. That's fucking funny as shit, man. It's like, look, man, it's again, if this is one of those things of like, if you push us all the way into this idea that we are always together, we are always together, we are always together, you are going to have a hell of a time ripping us apart. And you may get those like little moments where it's like, oh, well, maybe I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. It's different than the vast majority of us. That's fine. That happens. We are individuals, right? We are not a monolith. But I gotta wonder. I'll wait and see over the next couple of days. What do black conservatives say about this? That's what I'm fascinated about.
Yeah,
because it'd be interesting to hear. Right, Mr. Like all these like freedom loving, I take my gun, blah, 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 fight for freedom. All right, here's your brother. Here's your brothers right here. They're right here, getting unnecessarily attacked.
Right, now, and it's irrefutable. It's irrefutable who started this fight.
Yeah, there's no argument.
Right,
there's no argument.
Like, and if you precious snowflakes can't take a couple of words. You answer words with fists. Like, who's the snowflake now? You know what I mean? Like, they've always been. It's always been projection. It's always been projection. That's why the word cuck is in the lexicon right now. Nobody used that word. People didn't know what the fuck that word meant until they started using it. And it's projection, yo. And it's okay. All right. Yeah. Look, shout out to the zebra stripe dude in the white hat, ready to choke these motherfuckers. That's my spirit animal. I know everybody's like, oh, the guy with the chair, right? I get it. Look, I love fighting with weapons, right? Like that's great, right? You can do it. There's a way to do chair shots without having to give somebody a concussion if that's really what you want to do. But nah, yo, my spirit animal is Zebra Man. Just ready to choke a motherfucker. Like we ending this. I'm way too old to be going 5 3-minute rounds. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for a knockout immediately. No, absolutely not.
Look, this fight is 1:30 a.m. in the morning at a boxing event. I'm ready to go. Let's fucking knock these motherfuckers out.
I love it, man. I do. And it's a perfect microcosm for what happens, like how linked up we truly are. Through all the bullshit, cutting through all the narrative and everything else, how linked up are we truly? Turns out, still pretty linked up, and that's good news, man. That's really good news. Because the worst situation could have been a crowd of black people just watching this black man get beat, and be like, I ain't getting into it.
Right.
And then I would have been. There are many issues I would have been concerned about regarding that, but the worst part of that would have been we're becoming them. And we're becoming overly individualized in a society that does not give a fuck about us collectively, right? So that's a dangerous fucking situation to be like, why don't we all go our own way? No, they'll pick you off one by one. Like, no.
Right. That's the modus operandi of black conservatives.
Yes.
For some reason, they don't feel like they have the community, or they don't have the community to kind of fall back on, even though they probably did growing up, which is why they are where they are today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very individualized. Yo, we live in a society, yo. Like, I hate to quote that fucking line, but we live in a society, and we have to help each other because we got to live here, yo. Like, it's 2023, yo. We got to live here.
Yeah.
And we ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. You ain't, get the fuck out of here. You move. Well, not you. You did, but like, you move.
We don't have brawls down here. We're fine. Shit's fine. I had a margarita last night. I was like, "Ooh, it's getting crazy up there." Wow, y'all all right? This is wow.
Like, look at them savage ass Americans.
watching this shit on my high-speed internet. That's crazy, dog. That's wild. Y'all gonna be all right? You gotta put up the fucking Facebook flag. Survived Alabama. Like, I'm good. I'm in the same place. That's wild, man. But no, look, man. I'm happy to see Black people. We are still connected in a fundamental way that while we are trying to describe it, if you are not Black, you don't understand it. Like, you just couldn't possibly understand unless you're another minority, because other minorities get
Other
that,
minorities
right?
understand.
They
Right?
get it. Like, if this was if this was like four white dudes and like just beating up a Mexican dude, same outcome. Same outcome. The Mexican dudes would have rode up and beat the shit out of them because they see themselves as a collective, like they do. So, yeah, it was fun to watch. Probably want to watch it again.
Nigga, I haven't seen this shit like 8 times already.
I do need the one thing I'll say before we go, and I take this part very seriously. We live in an age of, we are living in the future, so to speak. I'm going to need an HDR version of this. Like, somebody has to have 60 frames per second, 1080p version. Come on. Man.
Yeah, I need people to really know how to use their phones.
Landscape.
You've got a powerful filmmaking tool here. I need you to turn it on to 60 frames per second. And for the love of fucking God, please record on landscape and not portrait. I want to watch this shit on my 65-inch TV right here, and I can't because fucking 40 of those inches will be wasted because it's in fucking portrait.
This is our biggest gripe. This is, if nothing else has been learned, just turn your phone. Make sure it's 60 frames per second. That's it, guys. Right. We could do wonders. We could do wonders for society. Really good. All right, that is it for us for this preview episode, for episode 247. We will be back, hopefully the full crew, for Till. Again, that can be watched if you are a Amazon Prime subscriber. So check that out, and we will see you guys next week.
Learn to swim.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.